Hey guys, by far the most popular question that I get asked, whether it's on videos or during live streams, is do you speak Czech? No, it is, but the answer is no. But the actual question the second most popular question I get asked uh, is this game worth? And that's the question I want to talk about, not the Czech one. But is this game worth $60 or $70 or whatever? I get asked this all the time, right? On streams and a lot of times in reviews, and it's specifically something that I actually don't mention at all in reviews anymore. At least I really try hard not to. And it's something that I regret talking so much about in the past. In the past, especially like with my Stray review, the title and the thumbnail and everything were like, oh, this is overpriced as hell. Because it was like a $30 game and it was like 4 or 5 hours of content or whatever. And to me, at the time, it was overpriced. And I felt like I needed to tell people that in the review. But, as the years have went on, I've realized it's an impossible question to answer if something is worth. Because all of us have different values for our money and for our time. And it's not something at all that I can make like some objective statement about. And as a result, like in reviews, I just really tell you what I think of the game as like an artistic expression through my subjective lens. And based upon that information, of course, you guys can come to your own conclusions and kind of decide, if it's worth or not for you. But the idea of worth is really hard to even talk about or quantify, right? Because you have some people with tons of money and not a lot of sense, at least to me, right? Where they'll spend $70 for Diablo 4 and then they'll spend an extra 20 or $30 to play it a couple days early, right? How many hundreds of thousands of people did that, right? We don't have the numbers on that. We do have the numbers on Hogwarts Legacy, though. Well over 100,000 people, when Hogwarts Legacy came out, well over 100,000 people were spending the extra 10 or $20 just to get the game a couple days early. So apparently, just being able to play a game a couple days early is worth 20 or $30 to people, right? And that's where it kind of comes down to is you have some people that have just a lot of money, they'll throw it at whatever. And then you have some people that are like, I want an hour of content for every dollar I spend. This is a very common sentiment I see online as well that when I talk to people. And, you know, my personal take on it is that if I no matter how much I spend on the game, if I finish the game and I feel content, I feel like I had a good experience, I had a pleasant time, to me that was worth. But obviously that varies wildly. With something like Elden Ring, I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, I would pay $100 for Elden Ring. I'd pay $120 for Elden Ring." Or GTA 6, people say, "I'd spend $200 to play GTA 6." Right? All of these people have wildly different value propositions, right? Their dollar means a different thing to them than your dollar means to you, and their hour of time also means uh, uh, significantly different than how you measure your hour of time. Some people value their hour of free time as it's at their hourly rate that they work. Some people, like me, I value my free time far more than I value my hourly rate of work, so I imagine it to be much higher than I'm paid hourly. But it all just comes down to a person by person basis. And I don't want this video to be too long, but it is unfortunately a question that I am just unable to answer because I don't know your financial situation. I don't know the type of games you're into. I don't know what you value as a player. Do you value gameplay? Do you value narrative? Are you one of the very uh, weird people that values graphics, right? It's like I don't know you as an individual, so unfortunately, I'm unable to properly answer the question But I do hope that with the information that I provide in the reviews, it gives you enough to look at all of my opinions through your own lens and come to your own conclusion on if you should make a purchasing decision or not. And that's really all I try and do to help people out. But, this is a conversation that is obviously very prevalent. Video games are expensive, for at least for most people. If you compare it to other hobbies, gaming is extremely cheap. I got friends that go out clubbing and stuff like that, and yeah, you're looking to drop a couple $100, a night you for a weekend. If you're going out clubbing and you're going drinking and stuff like that, you're gonna be dropping a few $100, man, just over the weekend, and that can get you a whole lot of video games. So or you go golfing. I have a friend that golfs, and Jesus Christ, those clubs are so expensive. Dude drops thousands of dollars. I mean, it's insane. So I think gaming is actually pretty cheap, as as it compares to other hobbies, but really games are still expensive. I mean, $70, is quickly becoming the new standard, and probably in the next 4 or 5 years, every single AAA title is going to be $70, which is realistically $80 after tax, unless you're living in one of those godsend states that doesn't have sales tax. Props to you. So yeah, games are expensive, and I understand. And I've kind of been in both mindsets. When I was a kid, I grew up, and I would get maybe 1 or 2 games a year. And luckily now I've put in a lot of hard work. I've gotten very lucky, and I'm in a much more fortunate spot where I can kind of just buy any games that I want, right? And so I completely understand both mindsets. When I was younger, I really wanted those games with a ton of content. So if I was to ask someone, is it worth, really what I was asking is, how many hours can I play of this game? And that's why stuff like Skyrim and Fallout were just godsends to me, because I spent 100 hours on a single character, and it was awesome. And nowadays, I'm kind of the opposite, where I value a tighter package. I will much rather take a 30-hour, really well paced narrative, something like a God of War, over something that's far more bloated with a lot of extra garbage in it, like an Assassin's Creed or something like that, right? Like, I really do value my refined and tightened up packages. And everyone's tastes are different, man. So, unfortunately, I can't answer the question, but I hope that the information that I do provide on the channel through the reviews and or through the gameplay on streams, whenever I'm streaming a game, I'm always trying to talk about my feelings on it, things I'm liking that they're doing, things I'm disliking that they're doing. So hopefully you can kind of base your own view off of that. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see all of you in the next video, or from Streamer Rooney. Bye bye.